night before my wedding, I went to the mikveh for the very first time, and I came home to a henna party. I'm an Ashkenazi girl that married a Sephardic guy. It's a mixed marriage. He's half Moroccan, half Tunisian, and I'm Ashkenazi. I cook the gefilte fish at home, and he makes the spicy Moroccan fish. Anyways, a very special Jerusalem friend made me my henna party and taught me what a henna stands for. It's a henna, a henna. It stands for chet, challah, nun, nida, and hey, hadlakat neirot, the three special mitzvot of the woman. The three special mitzvot, I thought, I love them. I could relate to this. I'm excited. But making bread is one of the top three for women. Listen, I hear the mikvah. It's so mystical. It's fabulous. Candles, so spiritual. But bread? How come? I learned that our job as Jewish women is to take the physical and to elevate it and to make it spiritual and holy. When one makes challah, one is shaping and molding and creating, and we're emulating God's actions. God took the dew of the ground and the dust of the earth and molded first man, Adam. We, as women, we have that natural tendency to shape and create and nurture relationships. We take something and we make it so much better. That's just who we are as women. When we are engaged in making challah, we are emulating God. There's an amazing story of Rebbetzin Esther Jungreis. She was a one-of-a-kind woman that passed away just this year. She shared a story from her youth about the sweet memory of Shabbat. She would wake up on Thursday morning to the delicious aroma of fresh baked challahs. And as the day went on and Shabbos was coming closer, the excitement kept building. She said they lived for Shabbat. She would sit by the window on Friday night and wait for her father to come home from shul. And he would come in always with guests, and he would swoop the children up in his arms, and he would start dancing around the Shabbat table, singing the Shalom Aleichem, welcoming the angels. It was so beautiful. Rebbetzin Jungreis said that she actually thought she saw angels accompany him home. It was so holy. And just like that, their world was overturned. Rebbetzin Jungreis and her family were taken to the concentration camp of Bergen-Belsen. And there they underwent so many hardships and challenges. Their father would keep them going in the camps by counting down to the Shabbos. 2 more days till Shabbos. 1 more day, my sweet children. And he would save a few crumbs and crusts from his meager rations each day for Shabbos. On Friday night, he would gather his children in the corner of the barrack and tell them, "My dear children, close your eyes. The table is covered in white, and Mama has baked fresh challah." And he would hand out these stale crumbs that tasted like sawdust. He would softly hum the Shalom Aleichem. Rebbetzin Jungreis, she recalls that one time her youngest brother, Binyamin, he cries out, "Tati, Father, I don't see the angels. Where are the angels?" With tears streaming down her father's cheeks, he said, "You, my children, are the angels of Shabbat." There are 4 elements that the world was created with: dust, water, fire, and air. Those are the four elements, and they're connected to the 4 holy cities of Israel. The fire is Jerusalem. The air is Tzafat. The water is Tiberias, and the ground is Hebron. When we make challah, we connect to these 4 elements. Rebbetzin Yemima Mizrahi said, "The dust is the flour, the water is the water, the air when the dough rises, and the fire when you put the loaves into the oven." When you make challah, the most important thing is your intention. It's all here in your head and in your heart. It's all about your intentions. This is challah for the soul. The ingredients: water. Water is the ingredient that will bind all the other ingredients together. Water is the unifying force in this recipe. Just like the water binds all the ingredients, we ask God, God, may it be your will to see our hearts as one. Bind us together. Next ingredient is the yeast. Yeast represents growth. The fragrance of yeast might not be so pleasant, but when it comes into contact with the dough, it brings out all the goodness that is concealed within. This is the awakening force that leavens the dough. In Hebrew, yeast, we call it shmarim, which comes from the same root as shomer, which means protection. When we put in the yeast, we say a prayer for the Jewish people and for the whole world. Please, God, protect us. The yeast symbolizes spiritual growth. As we put the yeast in, we pray that each member of our family grow and expand, just like the yeast. Yeast symbolizes the hidden forces within ourselves: awareness, enthusiasm, vitality. God, please give me the strength for every task. Let me be enthusiastic. Give me some strength here, God. Next is sugar. We overflow the sugar because it represents sweetness and happiness. It represents the love that is within us. A Jewish home must overflow with this joy and sweetness. It's the only way to be able to pass it on to the next generation. It has to be full of sweetness. Overflow it. And as you put it in, pray, please, God, let me be able to draw out the sweetness and love from within all the people in my life. Next is the oil. Now, oil is a vital ingredient in challah. It enriches and improves the dough. It gives it a glow and a sheen, as well as smooth texture. It symbolizes abundance and royalty, blessing and benevolence. We anointed kings of yesteryear with oil. We pour it over their heads. That's how we anointed our kings. In that light, when we're putting in our oil, let us pray to receive the blessing of abundance and royalty. As you pour in your oil, think about each one of your loved ones and pray to God to send abundance to me, to my family, to the Jewish people, for whoever it is in your life. Everyone needs more abundance. Next is salt. When I say salt, you might say to yourself, well, I don't want my challah to be salty. I prefer sweet challah. But you need salt. You need salt in almost every recipe, even chocolate chip cookies. Salt is a humble ingredient. It's not in it for itself. It actually draws out the flavors from the other ingredients. It balances the sugar and prevents the yeast from overrising. It's so important. But what we need to know about salt is salt needs to be used in proper measure. Just like with salt, humility is a key ingredient in the Jewish home. And we pray, God, please give us the wisdom to find that perfect balance and correct limits in our life, to have the humility we need and to know when to use our strengths. Next is flour. Now in Israel and in many places around the world, in hotter climates, you actually have to sift the flour with a flour sifter before you use it. I used to sift my flour in Israel because there is a hot country, hot climate with lots of bugs, and we need to sift. And when I would sift my flour on Erev Shabbat, I would sing and dance around my kitchen, songs of Shabbat. Sifting the flour reminds me about how every day as women, we are sifting through our lives. We're separating the negative from the positive, the useful from the useless. Sifting is powerful. Flour represents hard work. It comes in this little cute bag, but someone had to clear a field and plant the seeds and sow it and reap it and grind it, and so much goes into this little bag. It symbolizes hard work that we need to invest to really accomplish. You know, no one became great in their spare time. It takes hard work, and we're not afraid of hard work. And when we sift that flour, as the millions of particles run through the holes, they all come together in the bowl.
circle so alone, like a movie strip. Punching the clock and putting the hammer to the stone, just to leave it in the end. And it's never enough. Is this lifting me up? Will you ease my mind, feed my soul, help me come alive, make me whole. I remember who I am on Challah, just like it always was on Challah. Oh, it feels like I'm alive on Challah. Challah takes me home. Back in it again, and I'm missing you and this concrete world that feels so cold. No dimension and no feeling. This new day begins. Sometimes it gets so old, but I keep on pushing through, and it's never enough. Is this lifting me up? Will you feed my soul, ease my mind, help me come alive, make me whole. I remember who I